I guess I started out playing in bands when I was pretty young. Picked up the guitar when I was about 13 years old. And yeah, from there it I got used to playing with different people and writing music with a group of people together. But I eventually I don't know, maybe I'm, a little bit of a control freak or something, but I just became interested in what it would be like to control all of the elements yourself, and just to, start to use records and start to use samples as a way of being able to produce music without relying on other people. Yeah, so my background's kind of in filmmaking as well as music, and in some ways they kind of benefit one another. Like, I think that when you're writing a film and looking at it on a script level, you kind of think about, what sort of story you're telling, why is this part of the film in the film, and sometimes you can take that sort of analysis across to music as well. Why am I letting this particular section run for as long as it does? Is that actually, telling a story inside the music? And I also think, like, I'm a very visual person, so when I'm thinking about music, sometimes I'm thinking about images, and kind of knowing how they work and having a better understanding really helps me to sort of write music that I think makes a bit more sense. We've done a video of the live show, which it's not really a music video, it's more a demonstration of what the live show's about. I think when a lot of people see us, there's all sorts of technology and stuff like that happening that perhaps people can't quite understand or fully appreciate. So we sort of put this video together of a couple of the tracks, which shows what the live show's about, but also gives a little bit more insight into what we're doing on stage and how it all works. So I guess it's kind of to showcase to people that haven't had a chance to check out the live show, to show them what it's about, but perhaps also for people that have seen the live show, they get a bit more of an in-depth insight into what we're actually doing on stage. I guess, like, when I started making music and I wanted to do it on my own, I sort of reached out to the style of making music that people like DJ Shadow and all the hip-hop producers use, which is collecting old records, using samples from that to create all the individual elements. So that was kind of the foundation. That was the only way that I could really see that I could create music by myself that had the sort of sound that I was excited about. But then also, like, I do play in bands, and I do have a musical upbringing, and I do play a lot of the elements in my music live. So it's not just samples, it's not just straight hip-hop, it is completely a combination of the two. It's kind of taking, all my influences from bands that I love, like the Mars Volta, Caius, all that sort of stuff, and then all the hip-hop influences, and trying to kind of put them together. And yeah, it's kind of been weird. Like, it has sort of felt like the hip-hop side is really where they first understood where I was coming from because of that sampling base, but it's really not only where I wanted to be recognised. Like, I consider what we do, I consider us a band when we play live. I consider what I do to be almost as much rock as it is hip-hop, and it's really cool now that we're getting the opportunity to play with indie bands, and we are sort of supporting some bigger name acts that aren't just hip-hop acts, and that's really exciting for me. That's kind of like where I've wanted to be. Yeah, so I've started working on a new album pretty much as soon as that one was released. I started working on new songs. And I think it's a lot more live. Like, I think that my skills recording music and playing as well from all the live stuff that we've been doing have really developed quite a lot. So I'm trying to really play a lot more of the instruments. I've been buying lots more old synthesizers. It's becoming quite a problem. And yeah, so just sort of, getting my parents in, who are both classical musicians, to play the strings and stuff like that. Getting my drummer in to play drums. So I'm still sampling a lot, but maybe using that as the foundation, but really going to town with the live instruments on this one. Following up the second album that I'm working on now, which will be the follow-up to In the Shadow of Thunder Mountain. Yeah, I don't know, I have hit a few creative hurdles that I've had to jump over. I guess, trying to work out what the new direction was. I didn't really want to try and do the same album again. And it's been a real challenge. I've got a lot of tracks that will not be used, just trying things and realising that's not where I want to be, and realising that it doesn't work. You got to make those mistakes before you can understand what is going to work. Nathan had this cool idea to do something similar to the Secondhand Sure Shots project that Dublab did in Los Angeles, which is basically they gave 4 beatmakers $5 each to go and buy secondhand records and create a track out of that. So we kind of wanted to do something a bit similar, but we didn't limit it to only buying records. Basically we had $15 each, because things are more expensive here in Australia. Fucking mining boom. And we had $15 each, and we could buy, you know, tapes, VHS, records, instruments, you know, screws from Bunnings if we really wanted to have some sort of crazy shaker. But basically, yeah, we had $15 each on one day to make a song, and Nathan and I went out and found a whole lot of records and an old keyboard, and basically made a song in a day that we were really, really happy with. So we've got a video up that I think is actually going to be on this DVD, sort of showing the process of the day and how it all unfolded and how we made the track. But we're also really happy with the result. Like, we were really pleased with what we came up with in such a short period of time. So we're going to do another song and hopefully put it out as a 7-inch, which by the time this DVD's out will hopefully be in the works. The album's still in the process of being produced. I reckon I'm about 2/3 of the way there. I think realistically we're probably talking like, you know, maybe anywhere from the first third to mid 2011 before it actually gets out. But the 7-inch should be out around about February.